We are back week 3, look up to our normal day, Thursday. So no longer influenced by the Thursday night football. We've got our week 2 recap, looking at winners, losers, best performance, worst performances of the week. Got weekend update. We've got our most powerful power rankings of the year so far. And then our stone cold locks of the century of the week. We pick 2 losers and 1 winner every week.
Yeah, it's not much of a competition so far. We also got a Libby letter this week too, which is always nice when he can get something put together.
Yeah, and then wrote the shortest part of it on our matchup.
It's true. Well, it wasn't much of a matchup to begin with.
No, not when I have a -1 and a 0 in my lineup. So our week 2 recap, winners of the week, mentioned in Libby's letter, Ross, always a winner, but especially this week as he kind of stumbled out of the gates, but now looks to be back into form. Picking up guys that nobody wanted that are now going to potentially be fantasy powerhouses. Zach Moss, the right Colts running back to have, not Deion Jones or whatever my guy was. Patrick Mahomes is slinging again. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, and Raheem Mostert, until he gets hurt, is a good running back.
It's just funny that there's a Ross narrative every year. The narrative last year was that Ross stole Mahomes in the draft, and now the narrative this year is that Ross is good because he just picks up random guys and they play well for him. It's great.
And that's also a correction. Ross did not. I thought he lost the first week. Ross is 2-0. Ross did not lose the first week.
No, he's doing well. He's doing well for himself.
He's one of 2 2-0, or one of 3 2-0 teams. And to segue into our guest for today, another one of the 2-0 teams, a shocker. The 2-0 Nathan Rodabaugh Dallas Cowboys defenses joins the show to talk about his team and whatever thoughts he has on his mind. I appreciate that you got your professional background in there. That's very nice for all the interviews that you do outside of the Slowly podcast.
Yeah, well, used to. I quit that job, so now I'm just this is the only interview I got today. It's great.
Your job is now just a professional fantasy footballer. So right. You've flexed on this league as a newcomer. Can you give us your recipe for success? Why are you good?
98% luck.
Andrew Luck?
I wish. Should unretire. And then a good 2% taking guys that I thought might be able to pop off. Not A.J. Brown. He sucks this year. Not Josh Jacobs. He sucks this year. My top 2 paying guys, but the other guys, C.J. Stroud, it's like, you know what, take a chance on a guy that is going to be on a terrible team, so he's going to have to throw the ball a ton. That has worked out. Kenny Pickett, not so much. The defense, what a gift. Getting the Cowboys defense absolutely massive, and I don't think they're going to slow down anytime soon, so that's nice.
What I love is that you spent the entire real draft just making fun of Drew as he was drafting his team, because you must have known that you already got the top defense from our email draft and that your actual draft didn't matter.
That's right. Free points. So, but yeah,
I'm a little upset about the Kieran Williams, because believe it or not, I was a believer in Kieran Williams and had him on my bench almost all last year, just waiting for Cam Akers to finally get the boot. And I could have had him as a keeper if I wanted to, but I was like, that's never going to happen. And I didn't have a keeper at all. I kept nobody.
Somebody bid $20 on him. I don't remember who it was, and I bid 21. Thank goodness. If I didn't have him and I'm stuck with Josh Jacobs out there, I cannot wait. One more week, and I got Alvin Kamara back. So I was just hoping to win like one matchup. Winning two.
Yeah. I forgot that you had Alvin Kamara. And then, Brees Hall he might be okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're buying your own hype. That's what you're saying.
I am. Well, I'm buying my team will look a lot better with Alvin Kamara on it than anything else. So I'm hoping. And I'm also hoping that Tom continues his Bengals woes for one more week.
Wow. It's like you actually read our outline for this podcast, because that's a great segue into a loser of last week, which is Tom, because the Bengals are bad, and so Tom is bad.
Yeah, Tom's going to end up being a loser every week that the Bengals are bad, and who knows how long that's going to last. Did you, Nathan, have any losers, winners of the week outside of your own team that you noticed from the league?
I think for me, Drew, biggest winner, putting up 130 points and coming back from just a pitiful performance against me in week 1, though everyone had pitiful performances. And the biggest loser has to be my brother. I mean, what are the odds you go up against the guys that put up the top score 2 weeks in a row? Brutal.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Drew also having a high scoring defense, which seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
Tim's so salty.
I know.
So salty. Who's your defense, Tim?
It was brought up to get rid of him.
I legitimately don't know, and I don't care. And it's funny that Libby joked that my defense helped me win last week, and I think that even furthers the narrative that I don't know who my defense is and I don't pay attention, and they're still getting me points. I think that's a great.
You have
great way to look at it.
The Bills, and they are currently the number 9 ranked defense.
Just picked a name out of a hat. That's all that you have to do.
That's right.
You also have Koo, who just scores over 10 points every week as a kicker.
Just pick the kicker with the coolest name.
I finally dropped the Vikings kicker. The Vikings kicker is now gone because I don't think the Vikings will ever kick a field goal, because they have not for the first 2 weeks of the season, basically. So he's
No
gone.
comment.
Yeah. Some of the best performances from a player's standpoint, Tim, Keenan Allen, just killing it. One of the top-ranked wide receivers of the week.
I got to thank my internet for going out and auto-drafting me Keenan Allen, because that was really helpful.
I think he's a top 6 wide receiver now in fantasy, just because of last week. And he's facing the Vikings this weekend, who don't have a secondary, so that'll be good for him this week too. I had to do this one, DeAndre Swift, because it might be the only time that he ever has a good week.
Speaking of,
but DeAndre Swift, one of the top running backs of the week, just absolutely dominated the Vikings defense for the entire second half. Probably the best game of his career, and now I believe he's only projected for 10 points. So ESPN does not believe that is ever going to happen again.
I bet Libby's missing him a lot, even though he's got him on his team, especially with Lions running backs not doing great.
I did appreciate.
We got rid of
Kenneth Gainwell last week and Drew, since he spent his entire budget, and then we watched Swift.
Tough luck.
Yeah, that's bad juju for me going into this week, grabbing Ford for $75, and then Kareem Hunt got signed today.
I took Kareem Hunt for $0, so
I was surprised that went through. I kind of was kicking myself for not even. I was wondering why nobody else put a bid, because I definitely forgot. But the fact that you snuck a buy for $0 is kind of a steal.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, You definitely could have gotten the Browns starting running back in like week 5 for $0, and I paid $75 for the guy I was supposed to be.
What's crazy is everyone else paid.
I had to make a
$20.
move. Yes, I think the next highest one was 72, so I just snuck out. I forget who it was, but I saw it was like 72, and then there was a couple in the 60s for him. I mean, this is the time of year with the waiver wire where you think you might be able to draft a starting or get a starting running back from the waiver wire. I don't think it's going to happen the rest of the year. Kyron Williams, also a winner. We already spoke about him. He's somehow the Rams offense is good and he's a part of it. And then Lamar Jackson, one of the best quarterbacks of the week. Although Anthony Richardson almost had as many points as him in 6 minutes of the game that he played. So really, is Anthony Richardson the best quarterback in fantasy? Because every 6 minutes he scores 17 points.
It's like the per 36 argument in the NBA.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's the DeAndre Jordan of PER. Some of the worst performances, AJ Dillon, who's an absolute turd. He's a terrible running back. He's even worse in fantasy. Just an absolute travesty. He should probably just move to Door County and stay there. What an absolute loser. Gosh. I cannot stand. I think it's mostly because he's on my fantasy team, but he's just absolutely, he's so much worse than Aaron Jones. It's so.
It's
like
Delvin
Dalvin Cook
to
to Alexander Madison.
You're doing this to yourself,
Jones
though.
And he keeps
you do this to yourself.
He keeps getting hurt. Jamar Chase, another loser. He's still bad. Can't even bounce back. Bengals are bad across the board. And then Jets defense, after having over 20 points, -1 points. And that's how defenses should work, Nathan. They should not just have over 20 points every week.
I mean, imagine that your defense scores you 20 points one week and then -1 the second week. How ridiculous is that?
Because I find that if you just go 35 points, 16 points, works like a charm.
I mean, you must have known that. There must have been some projection you were reading that predicted that, because there has to be a way that you would have known. It's totally predictable.
I saw some things about the Cowboys defense right before we went into that draft, how they just wanted to murder people this year. I was like, well, I know they have the talent. And now you get random dudes talking about how they just want to embarrass people constantly. I'll take a chance. Because it was going to be the 49ers until I read that, and then I took the Cowboys.
When they give you -10 points, some random Thursday night game, I am going to laugh. Because it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think that, like with the Jets game, the quarterback will just get injured before, and they'll have to play their backup, and that'll just continue throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, I like that line of thinking.
Being able to play Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson in back-to-back weeks is so.
Hey, that's leading scorer Daniel Jones week 2. Okay, dude's a stud.
Okay, yeah. After needing to be down by 30 points again to
against a team
do
that would
anything offensively,
he's got the Blake Bortles garbage time magic.
There's value in that.
Oh, Bortles was the best fantasy quarterback if you needed to start him on a bye, because it would just be like, I have 5 points going into the fourth quarter, then 20 points later, top 10 quarterback. All right. That wraps up our week 2. We're going to get into weekend update.
It's weekend update.
Justin Fields spent the length of his media availability on Wednesday discussing Chicago's offensive issues, and he admitted he felt he was robotic and not playing like myself. In an interview with local area news, a Pick and Save self-checkout machine admitted it felt like Justin Fields and not like itself for consistently breaking down during a rush.
Good one. Brendan Schooler, a second-year special teams player for the New England Patriots, is getting praise from around the league for his innovative field goal block against the Dolphins last Sunday, where he sprinted in unawares from the far side of the field to make the play on the ball. The special teams coordinator for the Patriots was quoted afterwards saying, "Sometimes the best ideas show up at 1 o'clock in the morning when you're just drawing stuff and doodling." League historians are also calling it the most revolutionary heads-up Patriots special teams play since Revere's blocking of the British naval fleet in the 1-if-by-land, 2-if-by-sea game.
Kareem Hunt is returning to the Cleveland Browns on a one-year deal worth up to $4 million. Also included in the deal is all the massages previously promised to Deshaun Watson.
Atlanta Falcons quarterback Jeff Okudah is returning to Detroit to face the Lions for the first time since the team traded the former first-round pick away earlier this year. When asked by reporters what his feelings were around the game, he said, "There were no hard feelings, honestly." Not believing him, some reporters pushed further, asking if he had any problems with anyone in the organization or wanted revenge. Okudah finally stated, "I will say the same thing that I told you guys the day I was traded away. I'm not lying."
I knew it was coming, and it still hit. San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey took every rep in Sunday's win over the Los Angeles Rams with Elijah Mitchell saddled to the bench. In response to reporters, McCaffrey insisted he's not worried about the heavy workload of trying to carry Tom's deadweight team week in and week out.
I love the ones that relate to our league. That's a good one. This is a perfect one to end on. ESPN fantasy football writer Mike Clay published an article laying out how to stay competitive in fantasy football while investing only 15 minutes per week. He suggests using 7 minutes for waivers, 4 minutes for your initial lineup, and 4 for your final lineup. He also quoted statistics from an anonymous source who told him that people would save even more time if the kickers and defenses were reduced, if not completely eliminated from league play.
That's a fact.
I don't know who that source is, but he's a genius.
I think we might have had that same source on an earlier show at the start of the season, before the start of the season.
I don't know.
All right, now the moment everybody's been waiting for, the unveiling of the week 3 power rankings. Here we go. Starting at the bottom with Stefan, Tom, and Seth. I almost wanted to put Tom at the bottom, but he does still have a good team on paper, so that outweighed and gave Stefan the bottom spot. Stefan actually not bad from a points for standpoint. He's like right in the mix in that 180 range that a lot of teams are kind of at. I look at his team and just grimace every time, though. It's not great.
It's tough to put a one-on-one team down there, but yeah.
Seth probably should be higher, but his points for weren't very good. I thought they were going to be a lot better. I think Libby had like some positive things to say in the letter about his team too. So I don't know. Very fitting the next couple that we played each other. I have myself dropping all the way from the 1 spot after posting 68 total points this week at 8. Tim actually had lower at 9. I think my team's a little bit better on paper, but you did win the head-to-head. So, probably could be flipped there, but I even flipped it when I was reading through it again. To round off the middle groups, Lucas at 7, Wes, Sam, somehow still by name alone getting put near the top, and then Drew jumping to the 4 spot.
Buying the Drew hype.
Drew was 11th last week. He has jumped all the way to the 4 spot. Now for our top 3, we have Libby. Very good team. Very, very good team. I think he's going to end up being in the top 3 for most of the year. I think this next team is also going to be in the top 3 for most of the year. That is Ross. And that leaves our number 1 power rank team, Nathan Rodabaugh.
2 weeks ago, I said that he had a crappy team and he was horrible. And here we are now. It could not be further from the truth.
It's a real Cinderella story.
In our way too early power rankings before week 1, Nathan was 12.
Let me tell you, I listened to week 1 and I was salty. And I said, these guys don't even know who Luke Musgrave is. Come on. And then I listened to week 2 and I felt a little bit more respect, but was still salty due to the fact that I was still put like 8th. And now I feel vindicated. Also,
it just goes
put Drew 4th.
It just goes to show you that if you make a lot of noise in the league chats and get lucky by picking a defense, that you will do well here.
Hey, that's number 2 ranked fantasy player, Chicago or Cowboys defense.
Yeah, it definitely has nothing to do with the fact that other teams that we've ranked number 1 in the power rankings have immediately not played as well the next week.
It's the Madden curse of our league.
Or may not have dropped 70 points from the last week that they played.
Was that Sam and then you?
Did we? Yeah, we did have Sam.
We had Sam after week 1 ranked number 1. I still thought it should have been Ross, but good thing we didn't put Ross because now he gets to be a good team. Sam is back. Sam was 1, I was 1, and both of us have now dropped to that middling pack. So Nathan, I think you're the best team by far. There's no way you're not going to not stay at number 1.
That's right.
I think you're going all the way to the top and staying there. And there's no way that I continue to jinx you when it comes to our Stone Cold Locks of the Century of the week, picks of the week, with me taking Nathan plus 9.2 points. Somehow our number 1 ranked team is not favored in his matchup. It is almost a 10 points projected spread. So I'm taking the points. I'm taking Nathan. He's number 1 for a reason. There's no way he loses.
That's correct.
I also have Drew -1 and Ross -10.9.
That is
which is shared with Tim's first pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say we share that pick. It feels pretty easy to just pick Ross as a winner. I think he was my 1 right pick from last week. He was. I'm confirming that now. I am also gonna take Sam -7.1 as a pretty heavy favorite. And then in what could be a reverse jinx to give myself a win, I'm picking Libby at plus 10.3. I have no idea why I'm favored in this game, but Libby plus 10.3 against me.
Oh, see, I did the same thing with Drew. I took Drew -1 over me.
Yeah, that's a strategy.
So, I think we had the same thinking there. Same thinking there.
We'll see if we can actually have one of us be winning instead of just failing at 2 and getting one of these right.
These are tough. I will tell you what, the ending scores are nowhere near the point spreads most of the time. So
don't bet on fantasy football, for real.
It's like flipping a coin. It's like, I don't know. I'm also getting a report. Beep, 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 beep. our next week's power rankings have Ross as number 1. I'm making a projection.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not if Tom's Bengals have anything to say about it.
Wow. I think
That's
Joe
true.
Burrow's still not
I hope the
practicing though.
Bengals. Yeah, that's true. Aaron Jones back in practice. I just saw the report.
Yeah.
Christian
so I don't
Watson
have
is
to
not.
start AJ Dillon. Christian Watson not
Can-
playing.
yeah, as
Bakhtiari
Pac-
not
as Packer
practicing. Elgin
fans-
Jenkins not practicing.
Does any Packer fans out there, including the 2 people on this call, does anybody want Christian Watson? Because I thought that I stole him for $20 and now I'm regretting that.
Do
you want him for Odell Beckham Jr.?
No,
Kareem Hunt?
no. Also, should I be starting Jordan Love? I'm just fielding advice for my own team, but legitimately, I'm considering starting
who's
him
your
over
other QB?
Trevor Lawrence against the Texans, which he should put up some points against.
Put up a ton of points.
But I'd be lying if I said
Were
I
the
wasn't
Packers
thinking
playing this
about.
Packers play the Saints, who are a pretty good defense.
Oh, that's right.
Without
Yeah,
their
yeah. I
top
wouldn't
2
start Love this
linemen.
week.
No, not this week. I mean, Libby mentioned it, but I was already thinking about it before. I'm thinking about putting Jordan Love in my starting lineup. I'm thinking about it.
You closet Packer fan?
No, I just hear a lot about them here.
Sounds like it.
I feel like this is the year where Packer haters can hate them less because we don't have Rodgers or Favre.
It's
So
true.
we're kind of in this like middle ground of like, we're kind of cute. Like look at us just starting a new quarterback.
I do definitely feel softer
All of our
towards
players are
the
injured.
Packers. That might change the first time we play.
I think we talked about this last year too, but the injury reports on fantasy removing probable and putting everyone questionable all the time just breaks my brain every single week that I look at it, because I just never know. All my players on my bench were listed as questionable on Monday. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information?
I don't know. I have no
I mean,
idea.
Darren Waller's questionable every week, and so far he's played a Sunday night game, so you can't get a sub for that. He's now playing a Thursday night game. You can't get a sub for that.
Ooh.
And I live in Darren Waller's 9 points a game hands.
Try moving out to the
Stuff.
West Coast. And then you have church at 9 to 10, games start at 10. You got to have that lineup set at 8:45.
I did it for a year. Huh. It was tough.
Brutal.
It's very, very tough. I don't think I mean, like every other year of this fantasy league, I probably finished in the middle. Anything else, Nathan, Tim, on the fantasy year so far? Anything looking forward to?
I got one thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Hit
sure. I hadn't played fantasy football in 3 years. And so I wasn't sure if I should join a league or not. And so then Sam asked, and I said, sure, I'll join it. I was thinking maybe I would get, beaten up because I hadn't been doing it in a while. Turns out it's a walk in the park. Easiest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Don't expect to lose the rest of the year. So I expect everyone who's watching this their best shot. And you better not miss, because I'm about to be 3-0, and then getting Alvin Kamara back, it's going to be beautiful.
Nobody who has ever said anything about their fantasy team has ever been wrong.
Correct.
It's almost like having somebody's wife in the league. It's kind of disgusting. Like, I just like his name. I'll pick him. Oh, Drew, you're so crazy. Trying so hard.
I was giving Drew a lot of crap during the whole draft.
Joe, what did you look up his stats or something from last year? What are you doing?
And yet here we are. First place, baby. Feels good.
The
First
best
in both my leagues.
The best team in the league. What an honor. What an honor.
We shall see.
All right. Only one thing left to do. That's to hit him with the
Football. You got to say football.
Football.
Say football.
Oh,
Say football.